Dirty cup of H-Town, take a sip, babe. Only you that I'm thinking on the day-to-day. All my life, yeah, it's always been fuck you, baby. Diamonds dancing on
testing. I can actually put this on full screen. When you're doing your back testing, you want to make sure that you're on the time range that you want to trade on. So for me, I normally trade on a 15-minute time range with the strategy that I use, but the strategy can work on any time frame. It just depends on how long you want to be in the market. So whether you're getting in for a short period of time or a long period of time, that will be totally up to you. You would I mean, you can have a chart, you can have an Excel spreadsheet, layout, or whatever, and that could be what you use to record your back testing with. So you want to at least back test a year back, 6 months to a year, and you're gonna go day by day, and you're gonna look at your strategy, and you're going to see whether or not that strategy met your rules. So here is a M here, and if, for instance, your rules was that your second leg of your M could not close above your first leg, then this one would be tradable for you according to your plan. You could also have a rule that your EMAs have to cross. So depending on which EMAs you have, you see this one crossed right here. You may not want to get in until they cross and then take that trade going down. So your rules are your rules, but be prepared to adjust your rules, because when you're back testing these charts, you'll start to learn patterns about these movements, and you'll start to see that certain things happen in a pattern. And when you notice that, you can adjust your trading plan as needed, but also remember to back test that strategy as well. You wanna try to use the position tools when you're back testing, and you want to like take, well, I'll show you. So let's go back to that example. Let's say this is your trade right here, and you're looking at it. Let's go ahead and play. We can do a playback on TradingView. Oh, okay, yeah, it's called a bar replay here. All right, so you would want to hit the bar replay button, and you want to pick which bars you want to watch. So you see the M here. Let's start it maybe right here, and you can choose what speed you want to go in. So you can change your speed up to speed up a little bit. So for this instance, we're going to speed up a little bit. Doing the bar replay, hit play, and let's go. Well, first, okay, yeah, so you see that it's not making a boom, stop there. So it's not making a higher high, and it made a curve down right here. So that would be your double top there. But you have to, according to your trading plan, you don't get in unless your EMAs cross. So let's see your EMAs cross. Play. Okay, they're getting close. Bam, right there. They crossed. So this would be where you get in, and you want to, actually, I should have slowed it down, because in real life, your bars do not go that fast, especially on a 15-minute time frame. So now that your EMAs across, you want to get your position is double top, so you want to trade in a short position, and you want to grab that and set that right here. You would have got in on the next candle, which probably would have been like right there. And you want to make sure that your stop is just a few pips above the last high or whatever it should be according to your trading plan. Maybe your trading plan has a stop 5 pips above the double top. So your stop is here. And so maybe you always do a 2-to-1 trade. So your reward or your target is a certain number of pips, or maybe it is a certain level of support and resistance, or something like that. So according to your trading plan, make sure that you have an entry and an exit point for where you would like to take your trade. So here is it's counting your trading ratio. So your risk reward is a 2. Let's see, let's do a 1. All right, so let's just stop there. And this is your trade. So let's hit play and see how your trade would have played out. So this is back testing. You would do this for every day, and you would write how many, according to your plan, how many of your trades won, how many of your trades lost. And then you would know that out of a certain number of trades, you're expecting, whether it's 20% win, 30% win, 40% win, you know what that number would be out of 100 trades. And according to your trading plan, you would have won. Oh, it actually hit the target right here perfectly. I just guesstimated. I was actually looking for a different number on the target, but it hit there perfectly. So that trade, and I did not back test this chart. I didn't look at it before I made this video or anything. That trade actually was a success, and it didn't backtrack at all. So if that was your plan, you definitely made. Let's see, let's count the pips. Here, you went from your EMA crossing. Oh, actually, it crossed up there. So let's do that again. Okay, so it crossed right here as this one was going down. And you would have gotten in right there. And as the take profit say, which it actually tells you how many pips down there. You're looking at about 36 pips. 30, yeah, I would say 35 pips. So you would have gotten about 35 pips on it. So just like you have to have an entrance plan, you also have to have an exit plan as well. So that is a part of your trading plan. So you want to go ahead, and I'm curious to see where this one's gonna go. You want to go ahead and back test your charts like this every day, at least for a whole year. And past results don't guarantee future. Hold on, let me pause this. Future gains. Now, do you see that this is making a W here, would be a double bottom? So you will wait for your EMAs to cross, and then you would get into a new position going the opposite direction. But, you know, it's not wise for you to trade both directions up and down all day, because you'll definitely lose money that way. The market is not predictable, and it does what it want to do. So do make sure that you're checking your news results and your not news results, but the news calls There's an app for it. I believe it's forex.com, maybe. And they post the news there all the time. I just have a shortcut on my phone. That's why I can't remember it by heart. But okay, so let's say if we was to get into this trade, let it keep going. EMAs does not cross. So looks like so far we're not in it. We're looking for the red and the mustard like we did on the first trade. But we're keeping an eye because it has not made another low. Definitely had to retest right here. And it looks like it might be time. Almost. Looks like it's coming back to test the low. So you want to make sure that your trading plan has an in, has an out, and having trading view and you being able to use this button to pause and replay the charts is awesome because you can always put in an order as if you were there at that moment and watch it play out but not have to wait so long. So this is really good for demo trading. People who are still in those stages developing those strategies. So the strategy that I use, if anyone is interested, let's go ahead and take this off. Exit this mode. Yes. Okay, so if I was to back test this chart, or not even just back test, just do a recap on this chart based off of my trading plan. Let's see. Let's just randomly pick a day. Right here. What day is this? Ooh, that looks like a news release. Oh my goodness. Do you see that? Definitely a news release right there. So I am in a danger zone. Let me go to back when it was normal. All right. So not sure if there is a such thing as normal in the Forex world. Okay. Right here. All right. So if I was to backtest this chart and or just get up and trade because I did back test and I have a certain chart that I use. This is not it actually, because this one is actually a lot cleaner because TradingView does save your charting, and that is great. So I have this gray area right here. This is actually the Asian range. And what I do is I like to draw a box around the high and the low of the range. So this is the lowest point of the range, and then that is the highest point of the range. So you have a box. And so with this box, this ends at 2 a.m. and the London session starts. So I trade certain patterns out of the box. We have a M here, which would essentially be a double top, but I traded only in this time zone. I don't trade all day looking for M's and W's. I only trade it right out of the Asian session. So I would have an M right here, right at the top of the session. And this will be the leg to go down. So if I was to replay this and actually get in, which I won't do a replay because we actually see that it went down. I would have got in based on the fact that this right here is a star pattern right at the top of my second leg. So I would have waited until my second leg closed because that's actually what made the star pattern. And then right here on this one, I could have got in. Or if I was being a little more particular, I would have waited until my EMAs crossed here and then got in there. So another part of backtesting your charts is also looking at the time that your move actually takes place. So if I was waiting on EMAs right here, this took place at 4:45 a.m. And if I would have got in just based off the railroad tracks, that happened at 3 a.m. So it depends on your trading plan and what you're comfortable with and how well you have backtested the charts on whether or not you should get in based off the first. Maybe you need two indications that this is going in your direction, and it's always better safe to be than to be sorry. So I would go to another day, which is technically the day before, and then you would do the exact same thing. So you would go ahead and draw your box right around the Asian session, and see what happens. So right outside of this session, you see that price is actually staying at the top of this. And now in the last one, that was an example of the M starting in the zone, in this Asian zone. Here is an example of where I may not have gotten into the trade because it's just really chopping around up here back and forth. It doesn't really make a higher high. It doesn't really make a lower low. It doesn't really go anywhere. The EMAs are all under it, which normally indicates a buy, but a couple of them are actually slashing through price, which is more undecisive. So this one, this day of trading, I would have went back to sleep. Especially since there wasn't any move happening all day, nothing. So I would have definitely went back to sleep around 3 or 4 a.m. And then I would have woken up in the New York session to see what plays out. So I probably would have looked at this M right here as an M and put in a sell, but I probably would have been in the market for a pretty long time until it actually went my direction and it didn't go too far. So that was not a good setup at all. So then you go and you mark that down because sometimes you'll have wins, sometimes you'll have losses, and you want to just make sure that you record everything and record why something did not happen the way you thought it should have. So just take note of little bitty things. Let me go ahead and draw the box on this one. Take note of all the little bitty things and come to a conclusion that will possibly work for you in your trading until you find a method that you are consistently profitable at and it meets your needs. So this one right here, you actually have the 800 EMA coming through it. So it may or may not be a good trade. Let's see what happens. Now, this kind of made a W here, I'm sorry. And so your W would have started here inside of the zone and went down and here to there, there to there, and then there. And to there. All right, that was a nice setup. That one started in the zone and finished out. And when would you have gotten in? The EMAs were already crossed, so everything already told you that this was going up. And so here you do have the 50 right here crossing with the red EMA. And that could have been your signal to buy right at the next, and you would have caught your way up. Now, this double top here or quarter wood could have been a sign to get out the trade, as well as this railroad track right after it. Everything indicates get out, so you could have gotten out. I would have gotten out of the trade right there. Then you go back to the next day and you see, so some don't actually look like they can be a trade sometimes, and they end up being some of the best trades. And some you're just like, okay, just like the one that was chopping around. It looked like it could have been a good setup if you were actually sitting there watching it, but it was just chopping around. This one, you draw your box, and do you see any M's or W's? Someone might see this there. And then a W up. So you may have saw that, and this would have actually been a loser. All of your EMAs are overpriced, and that tells you what? That the action is going downward. And so yeah, that would have been a loser. Especially not having those EMAs crossing that second confirmation is definitely something to look out for. But on the long run, this ended up being a W from here to there. And there. So you would do that for a whole year. And depending on how many pairs you want to trade is how much discipline you have would be the ones that you trade. It's best to use your strategy on the specific pair that you have trained yourself to use it on, versus going to a pair to pair to pair. So I would back test maybe 2 to 3 pairs and find a strategy that works and continuously modify your strategy. Make sure you pay attention to times and what time ranges the strategy happened. That way you're not sitting at the computer all day, every day looking for something when you know that your setup doesn't happen until a certain time range. So that's why one of the reasons why I have my Asian range here, because I don't even look at the computer. I don't look at the charts or anything until it is my time to look at it. When my alarm goes off or whatever it is that I use, I then start looking at the charts. I don't want to get in any trades too early, because the early trades are always fake outs and they get traders stuck into the trade for long periods of time. So that's not really what I want to do when I trade. I want to kind of trade and know what's going on and be able to get out comfortably without having a day full of stress or roller coaster emotions and things like that. So good luck, everyone. Thank you for viewing. Please like this video, subscribe, and follow for more. I am going to go more in depth with my trading plan and some of the pairs that I trade later on. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. Thank you.